Hi everyone, I'm Jo Fry and this is my channel Jojo Fry Rocks, and this video is a recording of a session that I had with a vocal coach, a singing teacher. She's called Lexi The Red. I met her through a mutual friend, which is Andy Mack from Guitar Stuff Studio, and I was really interested in kind of finding out a bit more about how to actually sing properly. As you all know, I really love singing. I have kind of recently started up sort of a duo with a friend of mine, hoping to play some open mic nights locally, just to sort of get back into doing music really after quite a long time of not doing very much at all. And I wanted to just kind of find out a bit more about how to actually do it properly so that I can do a half decent performance when we eventually do reach a point where we feel comfortable to kind of go out there and perform some stuff. But I was also really interested in finding out about what my vocal range actually is. You know, where does that actually sit? Why is it that I feel quite comfortable singing some things and struggle to sing other things? And are there kind of ways to expand on that or improve on that? And all these other kind of questions. So it was a really great session. She actually sort of went through everything very thoroughly with me. Super interesting. I found out that I have a 2-octave range, more or less, which I think is pretty decent. Like, I was quite surprised by that, so I was quite pleased. And that I am, where my voice kind of sits is in the contralto range, which is quite low. In fact, it's the lowest female singing voice. So, you know, that's very interesting as well, and probably the reason why I can't really do sort of covers of female pop songs and pop singers. Most of those tend to sit in the mezzo soprano range, and that's the reason why I've never really been able to kind of do that. However, the good news for me, at least anyway, is that, you know, some of my absolute favourite, all-time favourite female vocalists are contraltos. People like Stevie Nicks, who is got to be one of the greatest female vocalists of all time, is a contralto. Karen Carpenter was, but Pink as well, who I absolutely love, who I think has just got the most beautiful voice. Obviously we have different kind of timbres and tones, but I think that's why I'm quite often very much drawn to singing her songs, because they feel quite comfortable for me in my range and reaching those kind of notes and stuff. So it made a lot of sense to me, everything that Lexi was saying, and she's really kind of pointed me in the right direction. And I wanted to kind of share it with you, and you know, some of you may be interested in taking up singing, and yeah, I thought I'd show you how a singing lesson goes. So I hope this is interesting to you. I hope you enjoy it. As always, let me know in the comments what you think, and you know, if you have any questions, I can always sort of pass those on to Lexi and get some answers for you. I'll also put some links in the description to how you can get in touch with her if you wanted to get some support and guidance for your own singing. Okay, enjoy. Hi Lexi, and welcome to Jojo Fry Rocks, and thank you so much for making time to go through a little bit of a singing lesson with me today. You are an absolutely awesome singing teacher and vocal coach,
I'm not sure whether the viewers of my channel will have come across you before. They will if they've seen you on Andy Mack's channel on Guitar Stuff Studio. But do you want to just say a little bit about what it is that you do? And then we'll kind of talk about what we're going to be doing today.
Well, hello, everybody. My name is Lexi The Red. That's what I go out on the interwebs. The reason that I use a different name on the interwebs is because I was going to train as a music teacher in a state school. And the first thing that they tell you is that you should control your online activity, because apparently children in high schools are really, really very good at computers, and they can find you and they can do all sorts of things. So that was the first bit of advice. So what I did last year is I took me off and rebranded as Lexi The Red. So mainly I've been a professional singer for a really, really long time. I kind of retired in 2012. And then I became a mom, which was amazing because I'd been told that would never happen for me. So I've been a mom for pretty much the last decade. My son is now 9. He's going to be 10 in about 4 or 5 months. So I spent my professional career being a singer. I've sang in pubs and social clubs. I've toured. I was really very, very lucky. I got a manager who was working with Ant and Dec. It was the first guy. They're from Newcastle upon Tyne. I live in Newcastle upon Tyne. And they were in a TV show called Biker Grove.
I remember it well.
Yeah, I was in Biker Grove with one line. I was telling my son about it. I had one line in Biker Grove and I got paid handsomely for it. Anyway, that was all on my other name and not the name you can Google me on so the kids can't find me. So not under Lexi The Red. Anyway, so that guy was called Dave Holly. And I met him through the Prince's Youth Business Trust when I became self-employed as a musician, and they gave him to me as a mentor, business mentor. And he stayed he became like a father figure to me. Actually, he was a lovely guy. He took me home to meet his son, and I dated his son for a little while. But when he started managing Ant and Dec, he was like, let's put you out there too. So I went out and I did like the Radio 1 Roadshow. I did a couple of competitions and that I won, 2 Battle of the Bands competitions. And I used the money that I won from them to pay for going on tour. So I supported some artists for free, some artists I had to pay. And I've supported some really well-known names. I did get a record deal. Cool. And at that time I was a duo, and I was faced with this. They wanted, so we made our first album and it went out to the record companies, and they all said, well, it's great, but we'll rebrand it so it's just her on her own. And I thought, what do you mean? So, and I feel like it was my friend's band, because he just turned up in my house one day. I lent him some gear, or he lent me some gear for something. Actually, I needed some gear and he lent it to me, and he said, so we're in a band? I was like, are we? And he went, yeah. And he got the record deal. I can't say I did anything other than turn up, take a few photos and do all the singing, and write some of the songs as well. But I got signed on a song called the Hate Your Face song, which goes, I don't want to see your face because I hate it. I hate it.
You know what, though? That's
the thing that got me signed.
That sounds so 90s.
Actually, it wasn't in the 90s. It was just into the 2001 is when I had my record deal.
Okay. Because I was going to say that sounds a bit, I could imagine that fitting in with some of those records. There were records like that at the time, I remember.
Yeah. I think I'm quite old school because I have written a rock opera, and that's why I'm out as Lexi The Red, because singing isn't something that I can do because I've got a baby and it's a nighttime job and there's just me and my little man. Yeah. So I don't really sing professionally anymore. And if I'm very frank, you can tell because my voice doesn't work the way that it used to, because it's just like, I suppose being an athlete, and then you go and you do you work every day. I used to work for like 2 hours a night, 4 to 5 nights a week in, week out. all the time for like 20 years. And now I don't get to sing that like that at all, and I can really tell the difference. So I've been thinking that maybe what would be good for me is to do I'm going to get my voice back to where it used to, but I mean, I'm an older lady, and your voice changes when you're older anyway, so your voice goes down and gets lower, so you just got to get on with it.
It's inevitable, isn't it? It happens to all of us. Obviously, it's part of the process of getting older. And I feel the same. I used to do a lot more music than I do now, and broadly for kind of some of the same reasons. I never did it to your kind of level. It was always just just kind of like a hobby and an interest that I love doing, but all of that stuff goes on the back burner, doesn't it? And you have a family, and that takes priority. So you're then sort of just doing bits and pieces sort of where you can. And that's part of one of the reasons why I started my channel, really, because I want to get back into doing music in some way.
Yeah. Well, it inspires your children, I hope.
I hope so. I think my daughter, I think that they both enjoy music. She's wanting to start to learn an instrument, so that's good. So hopefully that is something we'll eventually do together. But what I've been trying to do over the last 3 or 4 months is get together with someone else and try to work out some songs that we can do at just local open mic nights, just to get a bit back in.
I remember open mics.
Yeah,
way back when. They're so much fun.
I think it's absolutely awesome, and I love watching other sort of people just performing, whether it's their own songs, whether it's covers. It's all really good fun. So I want to sort of get to a standard where I won't be embarrassed to go and perform with Dan, my friend, and do our a few covers and one of his original songs in public. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I want to get my singing back up to scratch in some way. So if you can help me with that, that would be awesome.
I certainly can help you with that. So the way that we are going to go with our lesson is we'll just do a half-hour lesson.
Mm-hmm.
My first thing that I do when I do a first lesson with somebody is to just diagnose where their voice is now,
mm-hmm.
and then work out where they want to go. So let's get going.
Okay.
Are you ready? First thing is, it would be better if you could stand up.
I shall stand up. So I knew this was coming, you see. So this is why I have a stand for the mic. So I'm just going to need to reshuffle a little bit.
Now I'm in the primary schools just teaching the little people. So I've got all of these little songs that I do with them. So if I turn into a primary school teacher, just slap me really hard.
That's really
That's number one.
Great. That's really cute. I mean, I can't pretend that I'm going to be as nice and sweet and lovely as primary school kids are. But
do you know? I had an email today from one of the dads.
Yeah.
Who one of my students did a competition. And he sent me the whole video of her performing. So she was playing the piano. She's at grade 2.
Wow.
And singing. And she was singing Clown by Emily Sondé, which is quite a low song. So she's down there, and her voice is beautiful. Honestly, it makes your heart just sing. The dad was just like, oh God, she's so good. So the first thing that we have to do when we're thinking about singing properly is stand correctly. So you probably noticed when I was talking, I was standing like that. One of my legs is actually bent.
Right.
But when I'm thinking about singing, you'll see that I readjust my position. I've got a little mirror there where I have my students stand and watch themselves if they are capable, because some of them are just like, no, I'm not looking at myself at all. So the first thing that you do is you put your feet hip width apart.
Hip width.
Point them forward.
Yeah.
Not off to the side.
Okay.
The reason is it flexes your pelvis. If you stick your feet, the whole bones flexes your pelvis.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to keep your pelvis straight.
Right.
So your pelvis is going to not tilt like that. It's going to be even. So that's what we're aiming to achieve. So we're going to start with our feet, just straight underneath your hips, feet going forwards. Now, I want you to imagine that you've got the string going around your spine, all the way up through your neck, and it comes out not at the front, but at the back of your hair there.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So when you're being pulled up into imagine that you've got this helium balloon just lifting you into the sky. Your chin comes down slightly.
Okay. Okay. I see what you mean. Yeah. So it's sort of like.
So
like
this is how. This is how you sing. How you stand to sing without tension.
Oh, okay.
And I am one of these singing teachers that accepts some students want tension because some people want to go like that. And when I'm using my throat tone, that's the other thing we'll have to talk about. When I'm using my throat tone, I will sometimes tense it up, but that's the one I don't use anymore. I used to use it all the time and now I don't, but we'll talk about that later. So you're going to stand with your feet forward.
It all sounds very advanced and quite technical. And I think a lot of people actually don't realise, and I know a little bit about it, but not a lot. But I think so many people just don't realise the technical difficulty involved in actually being able to be in control of your voice and singing. There's so many different parts of your anatomy that are involved, and
your instrument is your entire body. Yeah. So if you've had no sleep, and I got woken up at 4 o'clock this morning by people downstairs. So when you're physically tired, it will come out in your voice. And if you're singing professionally, you just have to either learn to deal with it or have really good sleep hygiene and make sure that you're doing all of the things to look after your body, because it's your instrument is your body. So it's not the same as caring for a thing. You've got to care for you.
Exactly. It's not, so it isn't just like the vocal cords, that's not where the sound comes from. It's like you say, it's the whole thing. It's your resonance chamber, it's your face, it's your neck, it's the muscles, it's the diaphragm, it's everything.
Yes. So the first thing that we have to do is minimize the amount of work our diaphragm has to do in order to produce air pressure. So your diaphragm is here, right where your ribs are. So my ribs are there. Your diaphragm kind of is attached to the underneath of your ribs, and it goes up, and your heart sits on top of it, actually. And when you breathe in, your diaphragm goes like that, and when it does that motion, the sides of your ribs go that way. Okay?
The
way we stand.
I'm breathing properly.
No, adults tend not to. Babies breathe properly, and if you're wondering what the heck is Lexi talking about, lie on the floor and breathe, because when you're lying on the floor, you're using your diaphragm. The other way to do it when you're stood up, there's not much height here with you. I'll have to go back a bit. Is put your hands on your head.
Right.
And you'll notice that when you breathe in, your stomach goes out and your ribs, the bottom of your rib cage go out.
Yes, yeah. It wasn't doing that before.
So this is a great little cheat sheet, and this is what singing teachers can usually give you, is like the little cheat sheet that you are like, what? So this is what we're aiming for, that position. When you breathe in, it's going to go, right? So this is what we're aiming for, but you're not going to stand on stage like that. You're going to stand on stage like that. So what this requires is our pelvis. This is my pelvis. Instead, you don't stand with your bum stuck out. You stand with your bum tucked in. So your pelvis is going like that rather than like that. Yeah. The reason is because you've got muscles here to here that pull like a drawstring. So if you stick your bum out, let's try it. If you stick your bum out like you're bending and shaking a tail feather, now try and breathe in.
Yeah, it stops. The breath stops. Really, yeah.
So reset, push the hips, get your pelvis and go forward like that. Now breathe in.
Oh, yeah.
There should be no restriction, right? So that's why we tilt our pelvis forward. There's no restriction.
Oh, yeah, that's much easier.
So when you're playing sat down, for instance, this is what I have to tell my instrumentalists. You must sit with your pelvis tipped forward. So the way that we stand when we sing is a little bit of an uncomfortable sort of feeling, and you just learn to get used to it. So when you're sitting and playing and singing, you need to learn consciously, I'm going to just tilt my pelvis forward slightly. So you're starting from a good place, because you really need this rib cage to be moving without any restrictions. And that's what this standing is all about. So feet forward, shoulders down. Mm-hmm. The song goes, how does the song go? Stand up straight, stand up tall, feel the lift. That means just lift into the sky. Don't you fall, feet go forwards, shoulders down, bum tucked in, chest out now. This is how we stand to sing. Okay? All of my students learn that song, and as part of the warm-up, we sing it together. But essentially, that's the information. Stand up straight, stand up tall, feel a lift coming through your rib cage, out through this part of your head, your crown. Don't fall over. Feet go forward, shoulders down, and slightly back. Okay? So that will restrict your ability to breathe. That will bring your boobs out. But more than that, it allows your rib cage to move. Okay? So that's where we are. So when we breathe in, we don't want to be breathing in here. Most people are lazy and they breathe in on this section. We want to imagine that our lungs go all the way down to here, like 2-liter bottles of pop. Mm-hmm. And when the air is now water and you visualize it going to the bottom and filling up that way, that's the intention of breathing. So you're breathing in from the bottom up, not from the top down, from the bottom up. The other thing is, when you breathe in and you're using your diaphragm, your tummy, I've had a baby, so my tummy, it's hard. It's always out. But when you breathe in, your tummy's going to come forward a little bit. I think my ribs actually go that way because that's just the way that I go now. So your tummy will come out, okay? I do this visualization with my children. So you're breathing in, so you breathe out, and then you breathe in. You're breathing down into your shoes. Works really well with the kids. Imagine that your breath is in the lid.
Tummy go out when I breathed in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the two visualizations are, imagine that the air is filling up the water from the bottom to the top. It's filling up the bottles from the bottom to the top. So the air is smashing down to the bottom and filling up. This is the portion of your lungs you're trying to inflate. I don't think they actually go down that far, but just to exaggerate what I'm trying to say, they go down there. But little kids, to help them get their tummies to go forward. So it's hard for me to stand in the wrong position. So you stand like that, stand up straight, and then so you're breathing down. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you noticed that my tummy came out a little bit there.
Yeah.
It's this way, really. My ribs come out. I've got a really small rib cage too. Can you feel your ribs coming out? So when you push forward, imagine you're just going to go shh, shh. Push that as hard as you can in that way. So breathing in. It's hard for me to see what you're doing. Your shoulders look like they didn't move and your chest looked like it didn't move, which is actually the point. Describe to me how that felt. What was happening to your torso? Let's do the whole thing.
So, okay, when I breathed in, so when I took the breath in, I felt my stomach go out, or my lower ribs go out, and then when I went I felt it kind of get tighter, kind of around here.
Yeah.
exhaled.
Yeah. Next time you come, wear something that I can see what you're doing, because it's very, very difficult to see what you're doing, what your body's doing.
Right.
So
I will. Do you want me to quickly just put a t-shirt on or something?
that would be great. So if I can see
Yes.
what you're doing.
It's better.
Yes.
So, okay. I don't know if because it's black. I don't can see.
Your background is white, so let's give it a go. So the main thing is, when you're breathing in, this portion of your ribs, the very bottom, should be going outwards. Front goes that way, sides go that way, back goes that way. Okay, when you're breathing in. You see how when you stood up there at the very end. That position is a position you should never lose, okay? When you're standing to sing, you want to be in that lifting position all of the time. It feels really strange at the beginning, but it will become second nature eventually, okay? So your shoulders want to be down and back, which allows your ribs to move forward. To be fair, it is a little bit difficult. I don't know whether it's because you're far away and the motion's quite small, but it is quite difficult to see. So what we want to do is stand up straight. What you can see is that there's muscles here from here to here. So you've got these transverse, I think they're called. They go that way. They'll suck and pull. So you'll have a lot of tension from your pelvis to the bottom of your ribs, and you'll feel it here as well. So you push out, and then when you breathe in, you're standing tall, standing straight. The shoulders shouldn't have moved, but the ribs should have just come out. Now, while I'm talking to you, I'm going to keep my ribs in that outward position, which means I have to keep lifting, and all of the effort is here, and none of the effort is here. This is so I should be able to move my shoulders. There, I think you might see if I put my hand on. You see that motion?
Yeah.
Shoulders aren't moving. Boobs aren't really moving. It's just this section here. It's moving here. And you'll feel it moving here.
Okay.
When you're breathing in, you're filling the top. And what we need to do is fill the bottom. So you're bypassing the top and you're just going to go straight down. Singing is a great way to get good oxygenation into your body. So imagine your breath is like a lift. 1, 2, going down to your shoes. Yeah? So I'm going to give you a click. 3. Okay. Just go when you're ready. When you hear the click, go. And hold. And then shh. Okay. Good job. Shake it out. Don't get too much tension. So, this portion of our body is like a plinth. That's like a statue. So this portion of our body does all of the work. And this portion of our body just does the singing. So, what we're going to do is get your voice going, and we'll see where your voice naturally goes, and then we'll get to the highest and we'll get to the lowest, okay? If you could focus on being in that stood position, shoulders back. Yeah. If you're struggling with your shoulders, sometimes just standing like that.
I am a bit because I feel like I've got very bad posture, and I do tend
to now.
So put my arms behind my back like that. Yeah.
And then what you'll want to do, I'll stand backwards, is stick your bum out. No, bum forward. Lift up to the sky. You're lifting from here all of the time. But you could just have your arms just resting there, just as a little way to help us keep that extension, that shoulder extension going. We don't really want any sort of tension. If you feel the tension coming in, just wiggle. Just do that. Right. Just do a little wiggle. All the tension is from this pelvic bone to just underneath your rib cage. Yeah, that's where all the tension is. So Sometimes you'll feel a lifting sensation. So one of my singing teachers described it as, imagine you're picking up a really heavy table. That muscle, like, that's the muscle that you're pulling up, pulling out. Okay? Takes a bit of practice, but you'll get there. So we're going to take a deep breath, and we're going to do, I was thinking, should I do the do, re, so, do, re, do, re, mi, re, do. Yeah, let's try that one. Sing me a note that's just comfortable to you. Right, that's a B flat.
Okay.
So I'm going to sing do, you're going to sing do.
Mm-hmm.
There's a nice little delay just to warm us up. You ready? I've just realised that's slightly underneath my key. Never mind. Do,
Do,
do, re, do.
do, re, do.
Do, re, mi, re, do.
Do, re, mi, re, do.
Do, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do.
Do, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do.
That's beautiful projection, actually. Do, re, mi, fa, so, fa, mi, re, do. Yeah?
Okay. Do, re, oh no, sorry. Let me start again. My breath didn't work. Do, re, mi, fa, mi. Do. No, I can't remember it.
You won't be able to read my board from here. It's do, re, mi, fa, so, fa, mi, re, do.
Re, mi, fa, so, re, mi. Oh.
So, fa, mi, re, do.
So, fa, mi, re, do. Okay. Okay. Do, re, mi, fa, so, re, mi, re, do.
That was great. So we're going to go through the major scale, okay? Can you see the private chat at all?
I can.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that'd be really helpful. Thanks.
You could, if you wanted to, just go ooh or la 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 la. I do the solfa system with my students because I push all of my students into sight singing. And once you're familiar with the do, re, mi, fa, so, la, ti, do, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re, do.
Yeah.
Once you've got that, it's locked down to do loads of sight singing, which is so good for you. Like much later on, it's a bit hard in the beginning, but don't worry about it because the vowels are designed to bring out the nice qualities of your voice anyway. But if we can just go, we'll get there.
Okay.
Some of my students are sight singing things they've never seen before after a whole year of working with me, and it's just wonderful.
I'd love to know how to do that. I'd love to be able to do that. So yeah, I'm really up for learning. This is what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah. So you're going to go. So do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, so, fa, mi, re, do. That's me singing in my throat voice, and I hardly ever use it now. I can't get do. I can't get do in my falsetto. It just won't go down there. There's your B flats.
Do.
Stand up straight.
Yeah.
Get your posture corrected. Shoulders slightly back.
Yeah.
Lifting from the back, not the front. That's it. Chin slightly lowered. Don't forget that you're lifting. Yeah? So if we were in the same room, I'd play the chord and I'd count you down, and we do it in tempo. Breathing in, hold, 2, 3, 4. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, so, fa, mi, re, do, 2, 3, 4, stop. That's how we do it when I'm in the same room as somebody.
So it's do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. So it's
So, fa, mi, re, do. Yeah.
back down.
If you anchor so,
Yeah.
so in your head, so, fa, mi, re, do, you can touch that la and then go back to so and just hold it a little bit longer, reset how that scale is going to go, and then go back down to do. Pain in the bum to begin with, but well worth the pain. And your own.
Oh. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, so, fa, mi, re, do.
You've got beautiful pitch and beautiful clarity in your note. So you're hitting the note and the tone is really, really clear and beautiful. You should be very, very pleased with yourself. We're going to go to T. Yeah?
Okay.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re, do. Use my chin up because I don't use my voice. When we do it in C, it'll be better for me.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Okay, I think so. Do, re, mi, fa, sol. Oh, didn't have enough breath there. Hang on.
Your shoulders are slightly forward as well.
Yeah, it is. I can feel them pulling forward, like it's trying to. Yeah.
Breathing in. Till we're full. We're going to. Oh, what does that feel like? That's how we feel. We're tall, we're high. That feels a bit weird, but we're tall and we're high. And that is how we're going to stand. And then when we have to, the reason why we do that is because, you just refresh and you're not really moving your body at all. It's all happening here. So, da 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 da, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re, do. I should take my own advice. Put your chin down. You ready? Breathing in. Shoulders back. Take a good stand. Hold it. Count for 4 if you can. Lift tall, chin down. Deliver when you're ready.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, la. I keep losing it on the way back down.
Is it that you're losing breath control?
Yeah, I think
you're running out of breath.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's obviously not. So, I'm not kind of controlling the output very well.
Air pressure.
Yeah.
So, in a very technical sense, we control what's happening here to control the air pressure, which controls the vibration here. So there's an air pressure that we have to maintain, and the art of singing is making that air pressure sort of consistent as we're delivering. And then when we run out of breath, refill so we can do it again. It's not circular breathing by a long shot, but it's breathing in really quick on a quaver, usually in the beginning. So,
okay,
you want to breathe in, standing tall, standing straight. When you're running out of breath, you just go, this shouldn't move. I've got a bit of tension in there as well. This shouldn't move. This should just be out, and you'll feel it here because your diaphragm is only actually attached to your spine around here. The rest of it's sort of stuck to your ribs. Okay, so do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, 2, 3. Ti, la, oh, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re, do. Yeah, so just get a little breath in on your T, which is. But your shoulders should stay down and the breath should come from here, okay? That's perfectly fine.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
So stand up straight, stand up tall, feel that lift, don't you fall. Feet are forward, shoulders down, bum tucked in, chin slightly lowered. Yeah, when you're breathing in, you're breathing down into your shoes, bottom up, okay?
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, sol, fa, mi, re, do.
You did that in one breath.
I tried to really not push it too hard on the way up so that I could still carry on the way down.
Welcome to breath management. There are phrases we learn in phrases. When you get vocal music, you'll see that they're in phrases.
Mm-hmm.
So you start off with small phrases, sort of like sentences, short sentences, and then the sentences get longer and longer and longer until you're doing a whole phrases on a lot of breath on one tank. Massive phrase. You'll get there. So shake it out so you're not all stood still. Yeah, we're going to reset. Stand up straight. So part of the resetting process is just remembering, oh, this is how I'm supposed to stand when I'm singing. And it's an unusual way to stand and it can be a little bit uncomfortable. So learning to spring back into it is a really good idea. Just keep springing back into it. Pardon me. Now we're going to go all the way up to there. Okay?
Yeah.
2, 3, 4. So this is a shorter phrase because you're not going back down. Okay? You ready? So stand up straight, stand up tall, feel the lift, don't you fall. Feet go forward, shoulders down, bum tucked in, chest out now. Breathing in. And holding. Feeling that lift, keeping your shoulder down. Begin when you're ready.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do.
Your voice had a lot of forward projection, which is a really great thing. When you're singing acoustically and you're on that stage and you need people to hear you, you need your voice to push forward, which is great. When we sing in front of a mic, we sometimes get the habit. If you listen to a lot of commercial singers today, there's this softness in their voice and you can hear it, that it's compressed. That means the bottom end of the voice is pushed up to the top end of the voice, so you can hear the and the mouth movement, and the very soft is really present and forward. And that's not great singing, actually. You need to practice so you're pushing your voice forward. Even when you're used to singing in front of a mic, just push.
That's what I've always thought. Like, I think it's just because maybe growing up in the 80s, you know, we had so many examples of kind of really, really powerful singers, I guess. And like all the vocals were always very forward and present. There was none of this kind of shushy, whispery, kind of breathy stuff.
It's very like Billie Eilish has got a really lovely voice, but I was watching a Bond movie and she sang one of the things and she was really closely mic'd. It's called close mic. So it's like the mic is really close to your mouth and you can hear the breathiness of it all, and there's no forward projection. So when you're on stage, there's the top of your mic. You can see your mic is quite long. There's a bottom. I used to always imagine I was always singing to the very end of the mic and maybe even further, because you need to keep that projection going forwards all of the time.
I've always felt that, and I've always been told, you know, and whenever you're doing, I don't know, public speaking or presentations or anything, you're always told to project, you know, to the back of the room or whatever. I've got quite a naturally, I find I've got quite a naturally loud voice. It projects kind of whether I want it to or not. You know, I'm often told, like, you're being very loud, and I don't mean to be. I just have that kind of.
Well, that's great. We can teach you to be soft and decrescendo. We can teach you to to get softer for expressive purposes, but you really do want it to go forward. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you could follow it, do re mi fa sol la ti la sol fa mi re do, and then we're going to move. We're going to see how high your voice goes and where you switch. Okay. So we've gone from B flat, which is a typical sort of singer female vocal range. We're going to go up first, and then we'll come all the way back down, and we'll get down to the bottom, and we'll figure out where your bottom notes are. You ready?
Okay.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do.
Support.
Oh, do I have to?
Breathe in and go. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do.
Okay, sorry, I was coming back down.
Yeah? So from that top C.
Do, re, no. Do,
Breathe in.
do, ti, la, sol, fa, re. Oh, no, I forgot what I'm doing.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. You were using your falsetto voice there. So on your ascension, you were largely in your throat tone, and on your, which some people call chest voice, and on your descension, you were using your falsetto. Da, 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 and you switch back to throat tone on F. So try that again. Let's go from this C. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do.
I think it does cross over at the top there. I'll try again.
Yes, just do what comes naturally, because we're trying to work out what your voice is, where your voice is right now.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol. It's on that so. I felt it go actually.
That's breath. That's just that. It's a lack of. It might be that you're not used to it, or maybe that you're tiring as well, because we've been singing for a little bit, and it might just be that you just need to think about your breath. You know, supporting it from down here. Yeah. So your ribs are extended, and you've got to keep them extended like that. Oh, yeah. Feels weird, but
okay. Shoulders back.
Shoulders down. I'm ready to rock. Yeah. So shake it out. So you're not getting any tension. Shake it out.
Okay.
Reset. Stand up straight. Stand up tall. Feel that lift. Don't you fall. Feet go forward. Shoulders down. Bum tucked in. Chest out now. There's your do.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re. No.
Do.
No.
You missed out.
I started on the wrong. I see what I did there. Yeah.
Yeah. But you sang the tune right, so that's the main thing. You sang the tune right, and so that's right. So your switch over is so middle C for me is C3, and I know it freaked out some of the Americans because they call it C4. But when I started programming on Cubase and started programming, and still to this day program in Pro Tools, C3 is middle C. So I always call middle C C3. So you're, with that reference locked in, C3, your switch over point is the F3 and the G3. That's where you're switching to your falsetto. Can we figure out how far your falsetto goes, and then we'll work out how far your throat tone goes?
Yeah.
Would that be all right? So we're going to go into D major. Yeah. Can you hear where do is? Sing me do. Yes. So stand up straight, stand up tall, feel the lift, don't you fall, shoulders down, bum forwards, breathing in.
Do,
Making sure you don't get too. Yep. Sorry. Go.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do.
You did it right. You sang la, do. I'm still referring to it as in the key of C major. So your A3 was falsetto, but your G3 was throat tone. So your changeover, the passaggio, is there. So I am going to actually write that down on my little list of the break point. So let me just put G3. I wonder if you're a contralto. So you got to that D, no problem. So shall we try it in E major?
Okay.
Yeah? Want to give that a go? I'm curious to see where your falsetto goes. I'm just going to write in where your falsetto starts. Your falsetto starting at about, caps lock. Right. I've got to be arranged though. Oh. My computer is being weird. There we go. Right. Should we give that a go? Oops. G major.
So is that the starting tone? The starting note?
Do. You'll start it in your throat tone probably.
Yeah.
Do for me.
Do. Okay.
Stand up straight, stand up tall, shoulders back slightly. Lift from the back of your head. Keep your chin down, please. When you're ready. You did all of that in falsetto.
Yeah, that is coming back down. It always seems to, because it started in that, it seems to stay there. It's weird.
Well, I have quite a wide, I can do a C major in both voices. Like from C, in both voices. I don't like the sound of my throat tone very much at all. I much prefer the la da 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 da. I prefer that voice to that voice. But it comes in handy that I can still use it. I used to be able to use it a lot better when I was a bit younger. But having a wide crossover is no bad thing. It means that it's down to your artistic interpretation of the phrase that you're singing, whether you sing it in which voice to emphasize the mood or emotion or the point that you want to do. So having a wide crossover is a great thing. So don't think, I'm doing it wrong. You're not doing it wrong. You just need to identify inside your mind, that wasn't me speech related singing voice, the throat tone, chest voice. That was my falsetto voice, my head voice. Yeah.
So I see.
I'm having to use those other terms just so other people who speak the different language know what I'm talking about. I don't use chest and head myself.
I have heard these terms, and I sort of vaguely know what they relate to. But for me, it doesn't. I prefer the way you said it. I think that.
Yes, well, it's because it's anatomically correct. People describe your chest voice because it's got more sort of subs in the formants that make up your voice. It's warmer, it's bassier. So people were like, that's your chest voice because you're getting those resonance from here. That's now been proven scientifically not to be true at all. It's related to your speech.
It doesn't feel like it's coming from my chest. Like I've never felt like that I'm singing from here,
But you've got two different sort of sets of muscles. There are like 6 muscles that make your larynx work. And they're in like 2 sets of 3, really. And you've got one that shortens your vocal cords, so like a rubber band, and your voice gets deeper when you're shortening it, and it gets longer when you're stretching it, like with those muscles. But you've got another set that sort of tips it and takes over, and that's where the falsetto comes from. It's a completely different. It's a different set of muscles that are stretching and falsetto.
Yeah.
When I was a younger person, the chest tone, thinking, I'm not singing from my chest at all, I'm doing it wrong. And it's not that you're doing it wrong at all. You know, it's not that you're doing it wrong. It's just that that's the way your voice is. So, you know, we have to work with what we've got and not worry about the things that we haven't got. So let's try F. Do you know, I've realised my sustain pedal, I haven't plugged it in. It's really annoying. Just to see if you can do it. I mean, for me, it's dead easy. This is where I sing well.
Right. Okay.
So, can you sing the keynote from that?
Do.
Good job.
Okay.
You take me through it.
Okay. So. Okay. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. Do, la, ti, fa, sol, re, mi, do.
That was great. That's pretty epic. You started on B flat 2, which is just under C3, middle C, and now you've gone right up to F4. So you're like an octave and a half away from where you started. I think we're close to the end of your voice.
Yeah.
Shall we?
Yeah, I think so.
We can do this, G? Do you want to give that G a go?
Can you just?
Yeah, so you are at the edge, and that's a great way.
Yeah.
That is a really, really great way to test it out. Just humming it gently to yourself. If you're not sure where your edges are, just humming it gently to yourself is going to protect you from doing any serious damage. So do you want to give it a go, or do you think that that's F4 is the place of the top?
I'll try, and if I can't kind of get there, then I won't force it.
Yeah. I can get to a place where my voice just goes and I'm thinking, get higher, and it's just like, no. It's like it's a little bit higher than that, but it's like, no. Right. So stand up straight, stand up tall, shoulders slightly backwards. So tilt your pelvis forward. Breathing 1, down to your shoes and hold. 2, 3, 4. Are you ready? Count yourself through it on your end.
I'm struggling to hear that that note.
Do.
All right.
Do.
Okay. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si. No.
You with the F sharp? Yeah. Okay. Let's put that in there. Then I'll put that in there. So you can do the F sharp. I think. If you want,
I could just about it. I think if I really, really pushed it, I could maybe get there. But that is really. I didn't want to push myself. You know, that's kind of where it naturally seems to cut out.
You want to be pleased with that, lady. That's pretty good.
Wow. Okay, cool.
That's pretty good. As high notes go, that's pretty good for a starting position. So there's nothing to be done with that. Nothing to be ashamed of there. So we're going to go back to E. And we're going to speed it up a little bit. So don't worry about the do, re, mi, fa, because it might slow us down a bit. Just go, ooh, 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 ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ooh. It makes your jaw move. So you're flavouring every single sound you make. You're flavouring with what your jaw, mouth, and tongue are doing. So, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, yeah. So that's all that is.
Yeah.
In your own time. Can you stay in that falsetto for D? I want to see what I've written your falsetto down as E3, but I would really like to hear it. If you can do ooh in your falsetto tone rather than that voice. Yeah?
Yeah.
And
ooh. Oh, can you do the D again, please?
This is falsetto. You did it, so that's good. I'll just change that to D3. Let's see if you can do a falsetto in C at middle C. So the same thing, just try except on more breath than I had there.
Okay. No.
As in or. One or the other. Yes. As the air we breathe, yeah.
Air.
Okay. Or air.
Air.
It's making your mouth move into specific shapes.
No.
You're switching voices.
Yeah, I realised I was doing that.
Yeah. I think it's because your falsetto wants to stop around E3, but I reckon you could get it to comfortably on D3, and maybe you could train your falsetto to go down, which would be useful if you just wanted a decrescendo through both voices on one note to just bring that sort of like audience intimacy in. That's what it becomes useful for, miles down towards the performance.
Oh no. I'm struggling to get down there in falsetto.
You started it. So the takeaway is that section, and I'm actually going to put a little bracket here just so I know, C3, that means your C3 and D3 are notes that you can strengthen in your falsetto, and when you're doing your performances at some point, you can switch from ooh, that's just throat tone to falsetto. Yeah? That's an exercise that I always set for more, not on the first lesson.
Yeah.
We're still trying to find out what your voice is.
It's really interesting. I can physically feel like just staying on that note, but I can sort of like consciously switch between kind of the throat tone and sort of falsetto tone on that note.
And that's what your job is as a singer. That's what your job is. You choose how you're going to interpret the expression of a particular song, and then so I think singers have a toolbox, and you just pick effects pedals for the voice. And my job is to make you aware of what you're doing to achieve a certain effect, so you can turn it on and off when you want to. And that's
the exact thing that I want to know, because I feel like I can do some things, but I don't know how I'm doing it, and I don't know what and I don't know why. Like I like to understand how to sort of achieve certain effects, how to, and what is my best range, and where am I comfortable, and what sort of things are maybe not in my range or doesn't suit my voice and stuff like that. It's really useful, really helpful to be able to understand all of those things.
Well, this is the first part, and it's a slow process working out exactly where your voice is. But you are going to do songs. You sent me songs that I can hear are too low. They're in a male key. But if you know where your voice is happy, you can just pick it up and put it in the transposition and go, right, these are the chords that we're singing, play into this song, not those chords that the original singer did. We're going to do these chords instead because that's where my voice is going to shine. So that's what this does, is help you identify where your voice is, and along the way can point out that's your falsetto, that's your throat tone. You can switch between the two and other things, like applying grit and things like that. So can we go down?
Okay.
And find out where you are. I'm going to struggle because my voice doesn't like working past middle 3. It's C3. Okay. So you've got a very nice open tone. Have you had lessons before?
No, not really. I was in over 10 years ago now. I was part of just a work choir thing that they used to do at lunchtimes. And, so we had a little bit of direction. But it was just an inclusive thing. You didn't have to be able to sing or anything. But, they did have to determine like where people were in their range broadly, very broadly. So I was an alto, but I don't necessarily think I am in that.
I was going to say, I to be fair, I'm wondering if you're a contralto.
Is that higher than an alto? Lower than an alto.
I'm wondering, because you're singing so many male songs. The things you sent to me are really deeply pitched, and it used to be that contraltos were not that common, but it seems to be way common now because Taylor Swift is a contralto. She can get on that E. I really struggle to get down there.
I can probably sing that low.
I think you did on something that you sent me. I was like, well, I think you might be. But I would definitely place you in you're not a mezzo, not a soprano.
Oh, no, I don't think I am. I don't think I've got a particularly high, or it's not very powerful. I feel like it loses power. Like
that's breath support. That's all that was when we did that falsetto run and you went up to here.
Yeah.
You just didn't have enough breath. That's all. We can get to that. I can set some exercises for that. Don't worry about that. You can. You can definitely. Let's work on going down though and see how far down we can go. Are you ready? So stand up straight, stand up tall, feel the lift, don't you fall. Shoulders back, bum forwards, lifting from this bit here. My little cubby hole is slightly too short. Look, I can bang my head up here. Yeah? So, we were on or air, or air, or air.
Right.
Oh, air, oh, air, oh, air, oh, air, oh, air. I cannot reach that note unless it's in my throat tone.
Okay. Oh. Oh.
Breathe in.
Oh.
Good breath in. Yeah, you're flipping definitely around the E3. Yeah. You're flipping from falsetto. So do you think you could do that? Could we try that again, but stay in your throat tone?
Okay.
Your throat tone went to G3 before, didn't it? So you're flipping into 4.
Yeah, I can do that. I can do that.
Just to see, because I'm wondering where we can, because we'll heighten your throat tone is what we'll do, and lower your falsetto.
I think I can. I was just doing sort of like whatever it seemed to naturally do, but I can consciously, I think, stay in throat tone for this
Give
scale.
it a go. So make sure your shoulders are slightly down and slightly back. That's really good. I'm going to put some brackets in there. So I'm going to put B flat 3. So you can, that went the wrong way around. I've got my caps lock on. Yes, I have. That's good. Your blend zone is going to be lovely. Ultimately, that's what it all boils down to. How big a range you can blend any voice you like on. Right. Let's see if we can do the same with A. Take a good breath in to support those upper registers. And when you're singing your upper registers, don't think squeeze, think support. When you're running out of breath, you have to, these muscles here have to pull up to keep these ribs out, okay? The most important thing is that your ribs are out. So when you get into the, how do I describe what I'm actually doing? When I'm thinking about it, my hands go like that. Can you see that motion in my hands?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm supporting the breath. It's like, that's how I'm supporting the breath. Not with a, so that's how I'm supporting the breath. Like that.
Yeah.
So there's no tension here.
Yeah. I'm trying to release any tension.
Yeah. Shoulders back.
Okay.
So you just go. That's an A. That's good. That's higher than you sang before.
Okay, I ran out of breath though.
Yes.
I just felt it like collapse. Okay.
I'm going to just put that little A there. And a little note with breath support, because I think that's all it is going to take, is a little bit of breath support training. That's all. Okay. Are you ready? Can you, you can go back up and come back down, do it quicker. Try. La 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 la, just to make it a bit easier.
Okay. La 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 la. No, hang on.
You switched ever so slightly. You touched your A3 as a la rather than a la.
I'll try again.
When you breathe out, can I just say, when you breathe out, try and go shh or zh. You know the French word for eye, zh.
Yeah.
If you put that little bit of tension and you force your diaphragm to sort of act, so you'll feel it pulling at the back, and that's when you know you're doing it right. Yeah, just to push it out, and then when you breathe in, it's just that this release goes that way. Yeah. You'll feel, you should feel, when you do it properly, you'll feel a burn at the back or at the very beginning. It's like, oh, God, I don't like that. But it means you're doing it right because your muscles are going, ooh, ooh, ooh.
Okay.
Good job.
Yeah, can feel that in the back.
Now sucking, control the sucking, filling. Go.
La 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 la.
That sounded really nice and really supported, but the video froze, so I couldn't see what you were doing for that la. I couldn't see whether there was any tension. It sounded like there was a little bit of tension. I was like, where's the tension? I can't. And it froze. I couldn't quite see. Was there tension in that la?
can't remember. I'll do it. I'll do it again.
It was lovely and
Okay.
forward, though. It was really, and it was very nicely supported. Did you hear that? It just sounded confident. It was very present, and it wasn't present here. It was present over there. Yeah, that's what
I definitely felt I did the breathing a bit better, I think.
Good. That's what the point is.
La 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 la.
That was beautiful. I can hear that there's a teeny bit of tension in your voice. Could you? But I can't tell where you're singing because of the lag. So when you hit that, could you just give me an indicator?
Yeah, it's. I think what it is where I'm trying to stop myself from going. So when it reaches that point where I would maybe go into my falsetto, I'm like consciously trying to not do that, and I think that's where I'm kind of tensing a bit.
Okay. Let me
it's
just
like it reaches that like crunch point, and I'm kind of like, no, stay in the throat.
Yeah. Well, in the beginning, when it can happen that there's a little bit of tension and stuff, and we'll learn how to sing without tension later on. So I've got you down as your top note for A3, because we're going down. So your break zone is definitely over. Your passaggio is definitely sort of F3 to A3, where you can. But I think that you're going to be able to choose C3 to choose. I think you can choose between a sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a perfect fourth right now, but I think you'll be able to expand that out with a bit of training. Maybe close to where I can go between the two, which is C to C. Right, let's go. We're going to try the G. Same thing.
Okay.
Don't forget that when you're La, I find it hard to do that note. It always comes with grit.
That's quite comfortable for me. I can do la quite. That's relatively comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay, so
just la 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 la.
La 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 la.
Yeah, so let me just write a quick little note here. F3. Yes, I think so. I'll just put a little note there. So I appreciate that you're staying in your throat tone, because I can hear that you're applying a little bit of tension into it, but that's good. It's an effect like anything else. Should we try RF?
No. No.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I can actually. That's really weird because G's quite comfortable. I'm not sure about F.
Oh, I got it.
La, la, la.
You are singing it.
Oh yeah, I think. Ooh, la, la, la. Yeah, I think that's okay.
I have a feeling because you've been sending male songs.
Yeah. If
Here we go then. Just
right. La. It does feel like it's getting maybe a bit scratchy.
Yes, it's scratchy for me. So that's F.
La.
I'm just writing your note. Just gently do it. when you're ready.
La 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 la.
Yeah, that was good. That's good. I think you might be able to touch E, but you're probably going to be thinking, I don't want to sing that.
No, 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 no.
It's low,
I
isn't
really
it?
don't think I can.
This is where Taylor Swift goes in It's me, hi, I'm the problem, it's me.
It doesn't. It's.
I should not be left to my own devices. They come with vices and vices. I get up in crisis. She's singing down there. I can't get down there.
I'm struggling to kind of like produce like an actual sustained note there.
Yeah. Well, your F2, you sing softly, but clearly. It's soft and clear, which probably means you'll be able to eventually sing the E2 softly and clearly too. But it's not going to be at the top of your register all of the time. So
I can do it if I don't sort of try to project, then I can kind of go la.
Yes, that's clean. It's a clean pitched note, which means when you're singing in with a microphone, you can reach down there for those bottom harmonies. Or even if that's where the melody's going to go, you can touch that. But what we can say is that your range is at its best, I would say, from, give it an octave, I'd actually say it's just a little under an octave, to be honest. From this A, which is A2, to this G, or that A, which is G3, A3. So you would want to be transposing all of your songs into that range.
Right.
So when you're singing the lead, you're going to be wanting the melody to sit in there. And then you'll be fine.
In A.
Let me see if I can get that online piano. You might not be able to hear it, but you might be able to see it.
Okay.
And sometimes when you can see it, can you see this piano at all? No.
No, I'm not sure how you share your screen on here. like that physically. Yes, I can see your
this
keyboard.
This is middle C. No.
Yeah.
So let me put my fingers on the black notes. There you go. You see?
Yep.
So that is where you would want every single one of them. So I don't know if you saw this. I had this with Andy the other day. This is a great book, you know. This is a really, really, really great book. It does use chest voice and head voice, though, which for me is a translation issue because I just have to translate it. But this is a really, really great book for anybody who can't afford a lesson with a real person. This will take you from noob to sort of grade 1 or grade 2 really, really well. This is a really great book. I haven't read it for a while, though. The pages are actually going yellow around the edge. I've had it for that long. The book that I had, the very first book I ever read about how to sing, is a book I've ever heard anybody talk about. It's really old school.
It's just called How to Sing.
How to Sing by Graham Hewitt. I would recommend. This is the very first book I ever read when I was like, I don't know, 17 or something. I mean, this specific book isn't the first book I ever read. I went to the library and got it, and as an older person, I thought, but that book was really, really great. And I was giving myself lessons when I was 17 because I didn't have any money. This is also a really, really great book. It's classical, though, and it's taught in a very stiff way. This one, I suspect, is written by Americans, so Probably. It's less stiff and it gives you, so this is the one that we push these days because this one it's just less stiff and this one's a bit stiff.
Yeah.
But it's brilliant nonetheless.
Yeah.
I've got this one too.
So what's that one?
It's how to take care of your voice. Yeah. The care and maintenance of the professional voice.
Right.
Yes. Everything you need to know.
That's what I mean. It's all very technical. You've almost got to kind of learn about the, anatomy and the biology and mechanics of, exactly this, of how your body works, how your instrument works.
This was given to me by one of my university people, so one of my teachers at uni. So that's a great book too, just in case anybody was interested in a book. So
I'm definitely going to get some and get reading because I think this is all really interesting. I think it's fascinating.
Well, the good thing about this voice, so this book is a bit technical, but it's worth it if you know. It's sort of like if you want to be a mechanic, you would know how an engine works. It's the same with singing. If you want to know how your voice works, you need to be a bit of a mechanic. That's good for that. But the reason that this book is really great is because it's clearly labeled. The thing you want to know is clearly labeled, and all you have to do is go through, find the page, and you just have to read a few paragraphs. You don't actually have to read the entire book in order to get the information that you want, and that's why this book is really good. So it can be quite daunting, whereas Graham Hewitt's, you really do have to read the whole book. It's a commitment. Once you've started, you've got to go. So the main thing for you is that you want to be transposing all of your songs from A3 to A2 to A3.
A2 to A3.
Yeah, middle C is always for me C3. Okay.
Yeah.
So we would normally finish it there because I think you've done quite a bit of singing. Okay. So the first warm up is a half octave. The second warm up is the full octave, and then you go to D major. Do re mi fa sol la ti do ti la sol fa mi re do. If you can pop a vibrato in, do so, and just work up to where you feel like, oh, my voice is not going to go there. So come back down, go down to where your voice is like, that's okay, and do that. And that would be how you would want to warm your voice up before your performances.
Oh yeah, that's another thing actually. I've said I want to look at doing look at how to harmonize and everything. So we'll kind of touch on that in another lesson. Maybe
most
next
important
time.
Thing is what I've already told you about that.
Yes, and getting
Can you
the
remember?
Yeah. Learning, of doing.
If you're pitching,
pitch
to somebody who's in tune.
Yes.
So start with officially released records.
Yes. Yeah.
In keys that are good for you.
Yeah.
And if you want to sing, you can sing man stuff and do the thirds.
Yeah, and
it'll do your oral skills the world of good.
That's definitely something I'm going to work on and practice. But when you said just then about vibrato, that's another thing that I'm really interested in, and I want to kind of find out how it works, like how to do it consciously. Because I feel like sometimes I do it, sometimes it doesn't happen, and I don't seem to necessarily know how to make it happen. It just sometimes does and sometimes doesn't. But I know that's like a whole topic in itself.
I'm not going to tell you right now because I think it will overwhelm you, because we've covered quite a lot. So you know where your top register, your top note is this F sharp 4, your bottom note is this F2. So that's let's just say they're Fs. You've got 2 working octaves with the top and the bottom being like 2 octaves apart. That's F. That's F2. That's F3. That's F4. Your voice is 2 octaves long, and that's your start. That's fantastic. You now know that if you want to, if you need to if a song feels too high or too low, you want to be looking at putting it between A2 and A3.
Yeah.
the major
In
melody,
that
and just change the chords until that the melody squashes in there, and that's the key you sing it in. Yeah. Singers always need to know what key they sing their songs in.
Yes. Yeah. And that's something I've never really looked into. But I will look at how to, how I can adapt things now to make it more comfortable for my voice and sound better.
Yes.
So that's brilliant. That's already
the other thing that we've covered. I'm just going to give you a quick recap. So the other thing that we've covered is your whole range, where you put your songs to sing the best for you. The second thing that we've covered is where your falsetto is. So we've identified your two voices, so you understand clearly that you can make two different sounds at this moment in time. Mm-hmm. One is this kind of speech related voice. The other, I have to go up. The other is this higher falsetto sound. You now know where your blend zone is, where you can choose which one. So now that you've got this idea that there are two different voices, you can work on both different voices when you're warming up. And you know now that you're going to warm up from cold, just on your half octave. And then when you feel like you can get to your full octave, that's when you're going to start pushing and working in one voice at a time as well. So you'll blend when you're very first starting, but when your voice is warmed up, you'll be able to do one octave exercise in falsetto only, and then repeat the same exercise in throat tone only. And that is enough to be going on with right now.
It really is. It is absolutely loads.
It can be overwhelming.
But it's brilliant. It's been absolutely brilliant. I love this. I love doing this. This is absolutely I just think it's really fascinating, really interesting, and really fun to do. Like I really, really enjoy it. So, it's been absolutely amazing to work with you. And I would love to kind of follow this up and continue doing some work with you. And
yes, we will. Thank you for having a lesson online. It's very brave.
No problem. I don't mind. The people who watch my channel are super nice. They're really lovely, really supportive. So, there's absolutely no reason why not on my channel anyway.
Well, I hope that people who are watching pick something up, even if it's just, there's a song, there's a bit that I can't quite do. I could take that as an exercise and practice that little exercise to make that section of the song really strong. So if that's all we can give, then that's a really great thing to give.
It is. It's fantastic. Thank you so much. And probably see you soon hanging out in the live chat at Andy's channel, Guitar Stuff Studio, probably. Which
I think is on later on this evening.
Is indeed.
The difference between me and you is that I've done it for a lot longer than you have, and that's all. I can teach you, and you'll have the experience, and you'll be fine. You've got a great voice, so the world is going to have a nice time listening to you.
I really hope so. And it's really kind of helping me to improve posture and breathing and all sorts of other things, which I'm sure will have loads more kind of health benefits as well as everything else. So
I hope
thank you.